Hey, what's up guys? Austin back with another video. And what I wanted to do today was analyze my most recent 200-meter row. I did this on a water rower and I had a personal best for myself, 24.5 seconds. And it came out to be about a 1:01 split per 500 meter. Now, obviously on a Concept 2, water rowers and Concept 2s differ by quite a bit. On a Concept 2, that's probably more around a 1:10 split. As far as the discrepancy goes, I don't think it's really clear cut exactly how much they vary, but water rowers are definitely way faster than the Concept 2. So I'm not saying that I would have held a 1:01 on a Concept 2 at all, because the world record I think is a 1:03 split on the Concept 2. And I gotta say, I really debated making this video just because the video that I posted where I showed my 24.5 second row, that was actually done on my second attempt for that 200 meter. And in reality, that row was actually about 0.4 slower than when I actually went 24.5 seconds. And the reason why I didn't show the first video was because I was kind of shocked at what my technique looked like when I did that 200 meter. As far as like trying to practice what I preach, I hadn't filmed myself rowing a sprint row in a really long time. And when I filmed my first attempt and I saw it, I was kind of embarrassed with like how it looked, because it wasn't exactly what I was thinking it looked like or what I thought I was basically trying to do. And after seeing that, I redid it the second time after about a 5-minute rest or so with more of the technique that I should have been doing, I think, but it still resulted in a slower output. And so it's like, well, if I had a big break between the two, shouldn't I have gone faster using more sort of correct technique? So we're just gonna go through the two rows and just kind of break each of them down, talk about sort of the strategies of each of them, and maybe why the first outcome was actually faster with uglier technique. So this is gonna be sort of more of a less edited video. We're just gonna kind of go through it together. So stick around if you're interested. I'm just gonna share my thoughts on the rows. And essentially, like, there's nothing that I want to hide from you guys. Like, this is all, as much as I teach, these rowing techniques on YouTube, I'm still trying to learn it all myself too, and I'm not perfect. So I'm just, going along the journey with you guys. So let's just go ahead and take a look. I'm going to show you first the video of my actual 24.5 second row. I'll tell you right now, it's not pretty, but we're going to take a look at it. So if we look at it here, just getting set up. Let's see if we can click. Okay, so I'm about to start here. Now watch how this technique goes. Now before I pick up the handle, I want to emphasize the technique that I'm trying to go for here is how many strokes can I possibly take in 200 meters? Because 200 meters is such a fast row. The idea is if you can take a few extra strokes more than you would with long rowing strokes, that's going to overall generate more power, more watts in order to help you finish the 200 meter faster. But look what that translated to. Check it out. Boom. Oh, so you can see right away, I'm going to do a little pause here. We're just going to scroll through this very slowly. You can see as far as my legs, this isn't really scrolling very well. Here, I'm just going to back up. You can see that my legs aren't even compressing down, not even close to really going fully extended. But I have this idea of just racing myself up and down, up and down, up and down, and really utilizing more sort of body swing and momentum to generate the watts than actually pushing my legs all the way down. You can see towards the end here, my legs are going down a little bit more than before. But as you see, as I finish this off, that is what actually led to the 24.5 second 200 meters. So let's just go back and look at that one more time. Real quick though, if you look at the final screen result, you can see that my finishing strokes per minute was 66.5. And I couldn't really tell looking at the video, but looking at it, I think I stayed around 66 to 68 strokes per minute the entire time, which is an extremely high stroke rate, especially for a tall guy like me, 6'8". The only way I could really make that stroke rate happen is by not extending my legs all the way. So again, very ugly looking, but still, generating a very high amount of watts. And obviously 24.5 seconds, I beat my old time by quite a bit. So let's go ahead take a look now at the second row that I did, which was a little bit slower, which was more the technique that I try to teach, more the technique that I'm trying to help people understand that is probably ideal for these types of rows. So as we set up, if you follow me on Instagram, this is the video that you would have seen. Setting up for the row, blah, blah, blah. Now you can see here, my legs, I'm going much more for that fully extended leg drive at the far end. But instead of, and I'm cutting myself short more on the way up. So it's almost like on the first clip, I was compressing my legs more and not extending them all the way, whereas in this clip, I'm more extending all the way, but not compressing as far up. And I think this is what really leads to that explosive, high watts, high power generating, because I can still keep the stroke rate very, very high. And in this one, I'm actually going at about a 60 strokes per minute rate, which is still really high. But during this row, I actually was able to generate more watts initially than I did that first row. That first row, I think I hit around 880 or 890 something watts. Within the first few strokes of this row, I remember very specifically, I hit 925 watts within the first 3 to 4 strokes, which kind of shocked me right away. And remember, there's about a 5-minute gap between these two rows. But if we take the camera over, as I'm doing now, taking a look at the finish time, 24.9. So about almost a half second slower than that first row. Now, half second, that might not sound like a lot, but when you're talking 200 meters and the discrepancy between, like, you know, people that are super fast and maybe those that are just kind of fast, you know, every sort of 0.1 second really does count. And so at this point, I'm wondering, well, was it fatigue that might have gotten me towards the end of that? Or was that first row's technique more viable for something as short as 200 meters? Now, I'm not entirely sure, because now if we look at the stroke rate here, 60 strokes per minute for the second row. If the first row I was averaging around 66 to 68 strokes per minute, you know, if we just kind of round up 25 seconds to 30 seconds, if we're talking strokes per minute, between 60 and 66, that's a potential extra 3 strokes I was able to take during the 200 meters of that first row. Now, 3 strokes might not sound like, you know, as a lot of extra strokes, but I mean, think about it. Like, can you imagine 3 extra strokes within 200 meters? That could potentially shave off those extra 0.4 seconds. So it really just kind of begs the question, like, what, you know, was that ideal? Or should I have started with this second technique instead to see if I can bring it even lower? And I think that's what I'm going to try next time, is going to emphasize more of this more extended legs, less compression to the front end to really get that explosive, springy action with the rowing strokes. And the reason why I say that is because if we take a look at, let's say, the 100-meter world record rowing, you know, we've got Brian Shaw doing this 100-meter row. And if you look at his technique, this is much more close to how my second row went. And if you look at other 100-meter rowing technique videos, you can see that people tend to favor more of this short compression, but legs fully extended type of rowing. So here he goes attacking it. You can see he's a big guy, you know, one of the strongest guys in the world. So he's, you know, getting a little bit more leg compression, keeping the high stroke rate. But again, like I said, he's going for the full leg extension, which is most likely what's going to bring you the most power. And if we look at his final result here, he got, I believe his stroke rate was around 56 strokes per minute. So under 60, you know, it's like what is actually the best technique to go about this? So I think next time I do my 200 meter, I'm going to try more for my form on that second row's technique with fresh legs to see if that helps a little bit more. But I didn't want to not show that first video, even though it looks like crap. And, you know, you might be like, wow, who is this guy that gives rowing advice if he rows like that? But, you know, I was able to take the extra few strokes with the higher stroke rate, and that's what got me the faster time. So, I don't know, guys, it's all a learning process, but I just wanted to share that experience with you, and I'd be curious to know what you think as far as, you know, obviously one of them looks better than the other, but is there some truth in being able to take these extra 3 strokes to help get those little tiny 0.1 second improvements? I'm not entirely sure. So I guess I'll have to give it a go here within the next couple weeks. I'm going to give my body a little bit more time to recover and train, and then try that 200 meter again with more of the new, or that second technique. I think moral of the story though is I need to film myself rowing more, because I got to admit, on that first row that I did, I thought I was rowing with my legs fully extended. I actually thought I was, and I was really shocked to see the form on video after I did it. So it's all a learning experience. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Just wanted to give a little discussion to that. I'd love to know how your 200 meter rows went, if you're part of Orange Theory and you did the 200 meter benchmark, or if you've done 200 meters on the Concept 2. What is your strategy for sprinting? Let's talk. Let's discuss, because we're all trying to learn this thing together. So let's get in some good discussion and just let me know what you think. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching the video, and I will see you again real soon.